Most people believe that the future of technology will be decided by flashy software, social media platforms, or artificial intelligence apps that live on screens. They believe wars will be fought digitally, economies will be powered by code, and wealth will be created by ideas alone. But this belief hides a dangerous misunderstanding. Because behind every advanced algorithm, every autonomous drone, every AI-driven weapon system, and every digital battlefield, there is a physical world that must support it all. And that physical world is quietly reaching its limits. The truth is that artificial intelligence, modern defense systems, and future warfare do not fail because of a lack of intelligence. They fail because of heat, power, energy flow, signal disruption, and physical vulnerability. Servers overheat, batteries ignite, drones lose control, sensors get jammed, satellites fail in harsh environments. These are not theoretical problems. These are real issues already slowing down military programs across the world. This problem matters now because governments are no longer preparing for hypothetical conflicts. They are responding to real ones. The war in Ukraine, rising tension in the South China Sea, instability in the Middle East, and the rapid spread of drone warfare have forced military planners to rethink everything. The result is an urgent demand for new types of defense technology that are smaller, cheaper, faster to deploy, and more resilient under stress. Traditional defense giants are not built for speed. Their systems are expensive, slow to upgrade, and dependent on long procurement cycles. That is why governments have quietly started turning to a different category of solution. Smaller, specialized defense technology companies that focus on solving very specific problems. These companies do not build entire fighter jets or missile systems. Instead, they build the hidden components that make modern warfare possible. Energy control, thermal safety, counter-drone protection, electronic resilience. This shift is happening quietly, and most investors are completely unaware of it. That is where opportunity often begins. The first part of this story centers on a problem that sounds simple but is extremely dangerous when ignored: heat. Modern defense systems rely heavily on high-density batteries. These batteries power drones, satellites, mobile radar units, autonomous vehicles, and advanced communication systems. As energy density increases, so does the risk of overheating. A single thermal failure can destroy an entire system, cause fires, or expose military operations to catastrophic risk. For years, this problem was managed with traditional cooling methods: fans, vents, heavy shielding. But these methods no longer work at the scale and intensity required today. They add weight, reduce efficiency, and fail under extreme conditions like space, deserts, or combat zones. This is where a new approach becomes necessary. Instead of trying to cool systems after they overheat, the focus shifts to controlling heat before it becomes a problem, preventing thermal runaway, managing energy flow at the cell level, making batteries safer without adding complexity. About halfway into this shift, a small American company enters the story. Its name is KULR Technology Group. KULR does not make weapons, it does not build drones, it does not sell flashy AI software. What it does is far less visible and far more critical. KULR develops advanced thermal management solutions designed to keep batteries and electronic systems safe under extreme conditions. In very simple terms, KULR helps electronics survive stress. Their technology absorbs and redirects heat, preventing dangerous temperature spikes. This is especially important for lithium-ion batteries, which are powerful but unstable when overheated. What makes KULR different is not complexity. It is simplicity. Instead of bulky cooling systems, KULR uses lightweight materials originally developed for space missions. These materials are designed to work in environments where failure is not an option. NASA has used KULR-related technology in space applications where thermal stability is critical. In a defense context, this matters because modern militaries are electrifying everything. Drones are replacing soldiers in reconnaissance. Electric vehicles are being tested for logistics. Satellites are becoming smaller and more numerous. Every one of these systems depends on batteries that must perform safely under pressure. This story is happening now because government policy is accelerating it. The U.S. Department of Defense has made battery safety and energy resilience a priority. Military procurement is shifting towards systems that are lighter, modular, and more autonomous. That creates demand for exactly the type of technology KULR specializes in. Financially, this is not a perfect story. KULR is still a small company. Revenue is growing but not consistent. Profitability is not yet established. Cash management matters. This is not a mature business. It is an early-stage defense technology provider. That also means risk. Contracts can be delayed. Government spending can shift. Competition exists. But the valuation reflects those risks. When a company like this trades under $2, the market is pricing in uncertainty, not success. What keeps this story alive are real projects and real relationships. KULR has worked with government agencies, aerospace partners, and defense contractors. These are not hypothetical partnerships. They are proof that the technology solves a real problem. If even one major defense contract scales into long-term adoption, the financial picture could change dramatically. The second part of this story focuses on a threat that has already transformed warfare but is still underestimated by the public. Drones. Not the large military drones people see in movies, but small, cheap, easily deployable drones that can be modified for surveillance or attack. These drones are hard to detect, easy to replace, and extremely effective. They have been used to target infrastructure, military bases, and even individual vehicles. Traditional air defense systems are not designed to stop them. Shooting a cheap drone with an expensive missile makes no economic sense. The hidden problem is that airspace is no longer secure. Not for military bases, not for borders, not for power plants, not even for large public events. The solution is not more weapons. It is detection, tracking, and disruption. Systems that can identify drones early and neutralize them without destroying everything around them. This brings us to a company that operates quietly in one of the fastest growing segments of defense technology, Drone Shield. Drone Shield specializes in counter-drone systems. In simple terms, it builds technology that can detect, track, and disrupt unauthorized drones. These systems use sensors and signal analysis to identify drones before they become a threat. What makes Drone Shield important is timing. Governments did not take drone threats seriously until real attacks happened. Now, demand is accelerating. Military forces, law enforcement agencies, and infrastructure operators are all looking for ways to protect airspace. Drone Shield's technology has already been used in real-world scenarios. That matters more than marketing. Defense buyers care about performance, not promises. This story is happening now because drone warfare is no longer experimental. It is standard. Conflicts around the world have shown that small drones can change outcomes. As a result, counter-drone budgets are increasing rapidly. From a financial perspective, Drone Shield is still volatile. Revenue can fluctuate based on contract timing. Government customers move slowly. Competition is intense. This is not a guaranteed success story. But the valuation reflects that uncertainty. When a company with proven technology operates in a rapidly expanding market and trades at penny stock levels, the risk-reward balance becomes interesting. The third part of this story is about something even less visible, but just as critical. Military operations depend on support, logistics, infrastructure, cyber systems, intelligence. None of these things appear in headlines, but without them, nothing functions. Modern militaries are outsourcing more of this work to specialized contractors, not because they want to, but because systems have become too complex to manage internally. This is where V2X enters the story. V2X provides mission-critical support services to the U.S. military and other government agencies. It handles logistics, base operations, IT systems, and operational support in difficult environments. In simple terms, V2X keeps operations running. When troops deploy, when systems need maintenance, when data needs protection, companies like V2X make it possible. This story is happening now because military spending is shifting from hardware to readiness. Governments are realizing that having equipment is not enough. It must be supported, secured, and maintained continuously. Financially, V2X is more stable than most penny stocks. It has real revenue, long-term contracts, and predictable demand, but margins are not huge, and growth is steady rather than explosive. That is both a strength and a risk. The upside may not be as dramatic as a pure technology play, but the downside is also more limited. When you look at these three companies together, a pattern emerges. They are not betting on one war or one technology. They are positioned around long-term structural changes in defense, energy management, airspace security, operational support. This is not about quick trades or overnight gains. Defense penny stocks are volatile. They depend on contracts, policy decisions, and execution. Some will fail, Some will be acquired. A few may grow into something much larger. The upside potential comes from being early in a cycle that could last a decade. The risk comes from uncertainty, delays, and competition. That balance is what defines speculative investing. Understanding both sides is essential. By 2026, defense budgets are expected to remain elevated. Conflicts may change, but preparedness will not. Technology will continue to move toward autonomy, electrification, and digital control. Every one of those trends increases demand for the kinds of solutions these companies provide. But none of this is guaranteed. Execution matters, management matters, financial discipline matters. Investors should approach these stories with patience and caution. The goal is not to predict the future perfectly. It is to understand where the world is heading and identify companies positioned to benefit if trends continue. If you've made it this far, you now see what most people don't. The future of defense is not just about weapons. It is about systems that make those weapons work safely, efficiently, and reliably. If you found this analysis valuable, take a moment to like the video, share it with someone who cares about long-term investing, and subscribe for more deep-dive documentary-style market stories. Because the biggest opportunities often exist where most people are not looking yet.